Good morning. Myself, Reshma Singh from Army Institute of Education, Greater Noida. The topic which we are going to discuss today comes under course code BEd 210 and the course title is Gender, School and Society. Dear learners, first of all, let's see the definition of empowerment. Empowerment is the process of increasing the authority and responsibility of individuals and groups to make choices and to transform those choices into desired actions and outcomes. So, what are the types of empowerment? Economic empowerment, cultural empowerment, societal, political, and national. So, my topic for today's discussion is economic empowerment, women's economic empowerment. According to CARE, economic empowerment defines human economic empowerment as the process by which women increases their rights to economic resources and power to make decisions that benefits themselves, their families and their communities. Let's move to the next slide. So, by this diagram, you all can see the factors that enable or constrain women's economic empowerment. Gender norms and discriminatory social norms, where social protection, access to property and financial services, educational, skills development and training, and then there is labor market characteristics like collective action and leadership, legal, regulatory, and policy framework where address unpaid care and work burdens, access to quality, decent paid works, and facial policy that is social protection and all. So let's move to the next slide. Significance of women's economic empowerment, that is unpaid works, domestic work done by women, equal salary, financial stability having loan from account, equal opportunity for women at workplaces, allowance and bonuses. So, dear learners, in this slide, we will discuss all these sub points one by one in detail. So, let's move to the next slide. Unpaid works. Women's unpaid work needs to be evaluated in a single continuum of paid and unpaid work, which includes different layers and may be represented as paid work, underpaid work, unpaid, unpaid care work. So, the need to understand the status of unpaid work has to necessarily adopt a holistic approach towards women's work in general in an economy and has to begin from examine the status of women's paid work in a particular. So by this diagram you all can see like where the women's are lacking, where they are not paid equal equal amount that much they work for. Now, the next point is equal salary. The Equal Pay Act and Title 7, an employer cannot deny women equal pay for equal work, deny women transfers, promotions, or wages increases, manipulate job evaluations to regulate women's pay, or intentionally segregate men and women into job according to their gender. So basically by this we can say that even women should be paid equal for their work as the men. There should be no discrimination amongst them. So let's move to the next slide. So by this diagram, you all can see that the gender pay gap over the time, which is from 2015 to 2020, the gender gap between the payment is this much, the graph shows. And here the yellow line, sorry, the yellow graph shows the controlled gender pay gap, measure pay for men and women with the same job and qualifications. And the pink area, which is colored, is uncontrolled gender pay gap, measures median salary for all men and all women, regardless of job type, seniority, location, industry, year of experience, etc. So this is from this data is from 2015 to 2020. So you all can just have a overlook with this graph that how much there is gap between the salaries of men and women both. So let's move to the next slide. Equal opportunity to women at workplaces. By this we mean that the women should be equal as men in all the aspects. Gender discrimination comes in different shapes and sizes. It can be sexual harassment, both subtle and overt, in the workplace, paying people of different genders differently for doing the exact same work, hiring and training only one gender for a certain type of work because it is deemed man's work or woman's work, or even refusing to promote a pregnant woman simply because of her pregnancy. So all these type of things which comes to discriminate between men and women, that this type of work is specially done by the men, so it's a man's work, or this type of work is specially done by women, so it's a woman's work. So all this type of discrimination should not be at workplaces because both are equal and both are giving the equal amount of time as well as equal amount of hard work. These are the following steps to encourage female equality in the workplaces, which are: train your managers, prioritize your employees' work life balance. Let's move to the next slide. Remove the gender pay gap and be transparent about it. Make mentors available to everyone. Have a zero tolerance policy against harassment. So all these are points which can be considered to decrease the gender discrimination. Dear learners, let's move to the next slide. Now here comes the allowance and maternity leave. By this, you all can understand the maternity leave is given to the pregnant woman where when she gets pregnant, and the leaves which is provided to her. So this is a data which I have collected, which shows that 36 weeks, 9 months of adoption, surrogacy for women if the child is an infant, 30 days of paternity leave, 30 days of paternity leave in case of adoption, surrogacy of an infant, leaves for medical checkups during pregnancy. If she wants to have proper checkups, she may be given leave for that. And the flexible working timings, like which time is flexible for her, like options for 12 weeks post maternity leave, daycare facility allowance, night travel to be provided to all women between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That there should be proper van or proper services that they want at night if the woman is working at night also. Now health camps for women in office on periodic basis. And the last is, given that we have a large number of women in the workforce, it becomes a critical initiative for us. The focus is on building a culture in the organization. So, by this data, you all are clear with the maternity leave, like how much and what all facilities is covered under this. So let's move to the next slide. So now I would like to conclude my topic. In conclusion, I just want to say that the importance of the empowerment of women, effective policies backed by actions to accordance them their due rights and equal opportunities will be critical to bolstering the overall work on preventing sexual violence against women and other citizens in conflict. At last, I would say that if you educate a woman, you educate a society. So by my presentation, I hope the topic is very much clear to you all, and the topic women's economic empowerment is very much clear from my slides as well. Thank you.